Some of you may know Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson. He's a very popular man. I'll share with you a little bit about him in a second here, but he says the body of a Jewish person is of totally different quality from the body of all nations of the world. A non-Jewish soul comes from three satanic spheres, while the Jewish soul stems from holiness. I know what he's referring to. He's referring to us as physical Gentiles, and that all physical Gentiles have something different. We're not the same kind of people. That Jews are special people and Gentiles are not. Now, we might not call this anti-Semitism, but we would certainly call this some kind of racism, wouldn't we? This is a form of racism here. When you start to respect a certain color or a certain people, and you say, hey, you know what? These people have special skin, special bloods. That's a racist comment right there. Okay. And Rabbi Schneerson is a very popular man. I'll just share with you a little bit about Rabbi Schneerson here. They have a day in America dedicated to Rabbi Schneerson. It is called Education and Sharing Day. And this is Donald Trump in 2018. He said, on Education and Sharing Day, we acknowledge the power that a solid academic foundation combined with transformative power of time-honored values and ethics. Do these sound like good values? I don't know about these values. But anyways, he says they're time-honored values and ethics, right? And he says can have in helping young people achieve lives of purpose and passion. Today, it's Donald Trump speaking, we honor the life and legacy of Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson. This is 2025. This is from President Donald Trump. He says that we draw inspiration from the life, legacy, and memory of Rabbi Schneerson. Okay? The Lubavitch Rebbe and the leader of the Chabad Lubavitch community. So there's a community of people that actually are honored on this day. And they, well, guess where they get their teachings from and what their teachings are. We'll share a little bit about them, but he says, the First Lady and I encourage all Americans to reflect upon the Rebbe's teachings. His inestimable dedication, unwavering example, had become woven into the fabric of our nation and its character. His memory remains a blessing to the world. So they do this in honor of him because he is no longer with us today. But they have a law, Public Law 102.14, and it says Congress recognizes the historical tradition of ethical values and principles which are the basis of civilized society and upon which our great nation was founded. It says Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, leader of the Lubavitch movement, is universally respected and revered. He is their great spiritual leader, the Rebbe, and he wants us to return the world to the moral and ethical values contained in the 7 Noahide laws. This is actually written in the law of America right now, right? And the president is requested to issue proclamation calling upon the people of the United States to observe such day with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Well, if you're familiar with how Sunday came to be as a day of the Lord, they call it the day of the Lord, it actually started with a day dedicated to Easter, Easter Sunday. And they would do it once a year, every Sunday, Easter Sunday. And they do teach that Jesus and Mary are burning and boiling excrement in the Talmud. And these are some of the teachings that come from these things. Now, there's a term called anti-Semitism, but when you are against Christ, what's the term that we would use for those who are against Christ? What do we call that in the Bible? Yeah, so there's anti-Semitism and then there's anti-Christ. But I'd just like to ask you about the Israel of God. The Israel of God is mentioned in the book of Galatians chapter 6, where Paul talks about this, and he says, and as many as walk according to this rule, peace be on them and mercy and upon the Israel of God. And what's the Israel of God? How do you become Israel? Well, let's go to Romans 9 for a second. And he says regarding who Israelites are, who are they? He says, and to whom pertains the adoption, which we're adopted. How do you get adopted? What is it that we get adopted by? The spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father, right? It's born again. That's what it means. Israel of God is the born again, okay? And the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law. Who does it pertain to? Who does it really pertain to? And the service of God and the promises, the promise of the inheritance of the land, the new heaven, new earth. Who does that pertain to? Well, who are the fathers and of whom concerning the flesh Christ came, who's overall God bless forever. Now, it's not to say that it's not for everybody, because Christ died for all men. Whether you're a Jew or a Gentile, Christ does not make a distinction. He died for everyone. Whether you're Chinese, Japanese, black, white, it doesn't matter what you are. He died for all men. And all men come from one blood, really, ultimately. Right? And it says, not as though the word of God has taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. So how do you become Israel then? What is the purpose? Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. It's not a fleshly seed, right? It's something else. That is they which are the children of flesh. These are not the children of God. That's not the Israel of God. So we had Isaac, who was considered to be a child of the Spirit. And he had a brother named Ishmael. Ishmael was born of the flesh. And there's two seeds. And there's always been two seeds. And the true Israel of God, Israel is my firstborn. Israel is my son, even my firstborn. How do you become a son? Well, chapter 8, verse 14 tells us. It says, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. So who is the real Israel? According to the Bible, and who has always been the real Israel. This is not replacement theology or anything like that. It's not now that Jesus came, now it's spiritual Israel. It's always been. Since the days of Isaac, since the days of Jacob, since the days of the beginning, it's always been spiritual Israel. And he has always been a Jew, which is one who has the law in their hearts and walks in the law according to the Spirit.